we're talking about a long-term plan here. We're talking pathways to liberty, 40 years. Say the Republicans balance the budget in a few years. Does the Tea Party go away? Well, how does the Tea Party stay relevant and effective in the long term? How do we continue to stay effective?
Well, I think social reform movements don't generally solve the ills that gave birth to them in a few years or a few months or even a decade. The NAACP was founded in 1909. They didn't have a Civil Rights Act passed until 1947. They didn't have their main achievement passed, which was the Civil Rights Act of 1964, for almost 60 years, 3 generations after they were founded. That's been true of the pro-family movement. It was true of the labor union movement on the left. It was true of the anti-slavery movement. And it'll be true of the Tea Party movement. So even as you achieve some interim victories, okay, restraining spending, balancing the budget, imposing some fiscal sanity on Washington, we've still got big fights at every level of government. And I think the lodestar for the Tea Party movement is returning America to the founding principles of liberty and freedom, which means, by definition, limited constitutional government. That's an ongoing struggle. It's frankly been going on for, 300 years.
How do we reach out to the youth? Okay, because we've got college Republican groups out there, we've got some Tea Party groups popping up, but how do we change the worldview of youth in America? What's the wrapped around word?
Well, I think, as I said, the sort of celebrity-like attraction they had to Barack Obama is over. Young people, we know from the polling, are not supporting Obama and the Democrats on the level they were. Can we win a majority of their votes in 2012? Probably not, but we can come close. We can come very close. Bob McDonnell did, Chris Christie did, a lot of our candidates did. So what you have to do is, first of all, you can't patronize them. You have to speak the truth. And the truth is, they're being saddled with the debt and the tax increases to pay for entitlement programs and big government schemes that are never going to be there for them. And no one is telling them that except the Tea Party movement. Even the Republicans are afraid of that message. They won't walk to that message. They'll run to that message, because there was a survey done a few years ago where young people were asked if they believed in life on Mars or if they believed they were ever going to get a Social Security check. And more of them believed there was life on Mars than believed they'd ever get a Social Security check, and they're right. So by the Tea Party going out and speaking that truth and saying, look, the politicians won't tell you this, the media won't tell you this, nobody's working on it except us, they'll see the Tea Party as a vehicle for them.
They recognize hypocrisy as social conservatives.
Well, I am out there organizing all over the country, not just me personally, but our team through Faith and Freedom Coalition, literally millions of social conservative voters. We contacted directly. We estimate somewhere in the neighborhood of 20-some-odd million evangelical and pro-family Catholic voters in 2010, more than I ever did at the Christian Coalition. And what we found in our surveys is that about half of those people consider themselves to be Tea Party movement members. So, I would never presume to tell the Tea Party how to run its business. Okay, that's for them to decide. They know better than me. But I think the Tea Party arose to fight for limited government, less spending, fiscal sanity, free markets. And I think that's their, sort of core capacity and what they're best at. I think you can have other groups like Concerned Women for America, National Right to Life, my own organization, Faith and Freedom Coalition, either working on both or working primarily on the social issues. So I don't see it as a problem. I consider myself to be a loyal ally and a hard worker for what the Tea Party is trying to achieve, and I'm also a social conservative. I'm respectful of the fact that their mission, issue-wise, is specific. There's no problem with that. National Rifle Association says we're here for gun rights. Are a lot of NRA members social conservatives? Sure they are. But you shouldn't criticize the NRA because they're not working on something else.
All right, you had a strong admonition at the end of your speech.
Yes.
All right, so drive it home. Why should we not give up? Why do we need to stand firm? What's going on? What's coming down the pipe?
Well, as I said in my remarks, I've seen this movie before. I was there in '94 when we took the House and we took the Senate. In some ways, we had an even better cycle than we did in 2010. Fewer House seats, but we got both chambers. And we were able to stop cold anything Clinton wanted to do. And I think there was a lot of misplaced euphoria and, frankly, naive triumphalism that Clinton was done, that he wasn't relevant. And let me tell you something. I found out the hard way on both ends of this ball, having a president who I was with and having a president I wasn't with, that the presidency of the United States is the most consequential office on the planet, and you don't ever count them out. Obama's going to have $1 billion in Air Force One.